Hey all, and welcome back to Fuzzy Dutchy Gaming, and a new video on the channel covering off the most frequently asked questions I get since I brought the Lightning Strike guide out. It's going to be a really quick video, just really summarizing the answers to the main questions I get. So the first is, what's better, Champ, Berserker, or Raider? And the answer to me is none. They are all this league on about an equal standing. They have pros and cons for each build, and it really depends on what playstyle you like. Raider, to me, easier out the block to league start. You get suppression capped by like Act 4 or 5. You get ailment immune really early on in Acts, and you get a lot of evasion from your Ascendancy. Berserker, bit harder to start, but you've got Rage, you've got Berserk, you've got absolute ton of attack speed, like insane attack speed. The damage like scales off the chart, but it's a little bit tricky to get going because they don't get access to like the spell suppression and the ailment avoidance. And it is a lot of buttons, and that's the main reason I don't play the skill. I don't mind, like, oh, you need to spend money to get spell suppression and ailment on gear. I've got no problem with that. I just couldn't cope with all the buttons. And some people have to like macro and numblock stuff because there's literally too many buttons to play the build. I'm too old for that shit. But you might really enjoy it, so don't let me put you off. That's just my personal opinion. Champion, again, is not as easy at the blocks in terms of getting your gear going. But it's a super comfy leveler. You get Fortify built into the Ascendancy. Once you get a few key pieces of gear to build ramps, but without them, it's a bit stagnant. I don't think the gear is particularly expensive this league, but it is probably more of a steep learning curve than Raider. And that's why I recommend Raider. I just think for a beginner or for someone who wants a league starter that I haven't tried before and they want to understand exactly how the build works, Raider is probably the easiest option. Next question. Why does my character keep moving when I'm using Lightning Strike? And we will answer that. I will answer that for you now. Now, most PoE players will know this. There is this button here, always attack without moving, and for some reason its default is off when you equip a skill. And what this does is when you hit that skill, you are going to charge to where you're trying to hit, and then you'll hit. So let's say you wanted to hit Tane, but you just wanted to hit him with your projectiles. You've got enough damage, you'll kill him anyway. You'll do it, and he'll run straight up to him and hit him. Let's say we wanted to hit Zana. Again, the character's going to run and hit Zana. You put that button on, and you're going to stand still and do it. So, how to double hit? That's the next question I get quite a lot. Probably didn't cover it enough in the build guide, but we'll just look through this footage, slowed down from my recent playthrough. How you double hit is you're essentially striking the ground, and then it's double hitting the target with your melee and the projectiles. If you get too close, you don't have the distance to actually do that, so you'll just hit the enemy once. So if you get right on top of your enemy, and it's hard, sometimes you cannot get space. So essence monsters are a prime example. They will literally chase you across the screen. They will never give you space to hit them. Whereas most enemies are actually static nearly all the time, so you can double hit quite easily. All you need to do is literally just be outside of what you would think would be melee range. I know it sounds stupid. The easiest way I like to describe it is it's a body width. So if you are one body width away from the enemy, you'll double hit. If you're 2, you should double hit. If you're 3, you probably won't. If you're 0, you're too close, you won't either. That's the simplest way to explain it. It really just takes practice, and once you're used to it and you'll feel it, DPS-wise single target, you'll know when it's working, because if you're not double hitting before, you go and try this, you're going to notice the boss is melting like more than twice as quick because your projectiles do more damage than your melee. Next question, how do I craft a shield now Harvest is dead? And it's just a massive misconception that Harvest is dead. It's been gutted, there's no doubt about it. A lot of the good crafts are gone that were really useful, and I am quite pissed off about it. But the shield craft hasn't gone. If anything, it's now easier because you can guarantee those crafts as many times as you want to do it. And it's 50 life force, which last time I checked, it might be different now, was 1 chaos in trade. You can roll these probably every 3 rerolls in terms of hitting that ailment avoidance, and then you just need to get it in the 30% bracket. I've rolled 3 shields in my SSF playthrough for a combination of 550 life force. This is still the best way to do it. Don't go looking at how to fossil craft it or spamming essences, because you have to target the fire, cold, and lightning tag. So you could probably do it in Delve, but you're going to have to buy resonators and fossils, and it's not going to be as cheap as just paying 1C to get some life force. Okay, next question. Why do you take the dagger wheel when we're running claws? Again, this is something anyone who's played the skill before would know, but if you're playing this for the first time, these nodes are going to look super odd to you. It's movement speed and dagger attacks, movement speed and dagger attacks, elusive effect, and then Nightblade, critical strike multiplier. And these are literally the reasons we're taking all these nodes. They add an insane amount of DPS in terms of per point traveled. 40% crit multiplier for skills supported by Nightblade, and it all gets buffed in this stupid loopy fashion, which is how you end up with like 800 crit multi on the build. Same for this. Increase elusive effect is increasing that crit multi. So we don't care that it's daggers. We're not interested in them nodes. We're interested in this and this. And if you're not taking them on the build, you're making a massive mistake. Okay, this is the last one and probably the most relevant. When do I switch to Vaal Lightning Strike? And it is absolutely personal preference. My hard recommendation would be do not switch at a 5 link. You can clear stuff with Helix way easier. Yes, it feels clunky, but honestly, Vaal Lightning Strike on a 5 link feels like crap. As soon as you get to yellow maps, you're going to hit a massive wall in terms of DPS, unless you've kind of all your other gear is really good. So all you need is a 6 link, some damage on your jewelry from somewhere like flat damage, percentage any damage, and these nodes on the tree here. That is all you need, really. And if you gear your other items properly, you can do T16s with this setup. And then you don't need +1 strike gloves. They're brilliant. You do need them eventually. But if you're just pushing and you don't have the money because I think they're quite expensive, just go without them for now. Run Ancestral Call. Get your other gear. Get some damage on it live to keep you alive. You should be able to do T14 to 60 maps. You might take the odd death. That is true. But when you're Atlas pushing, who cares? You want to get that stuff done. If you're that bothered about dying, you'd play hardcore. And that's it for this video. Try to make it as quick as possible. If you've got any specific questions that I haven't covered, just post them in the comments of this video. Helps me keep it all in one place. I'll answer them. And then if this build survives next league, I'll make sure I go through all these questions so we can do like an FAQ at the end of the build rather than just, you know, a few days after the build guide. But that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Take care and see you in the next one.